Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar presentation Fire Your Job and Start Your Own Business. And in this webinar, we're going to be talking about the very first step of my 4-step business revolution program. And this very first step is overcoming your fears. And I am so excited to be here because what I'm about to share with you today made a huge impact in my life. And I know that by the time you're done with this webinar, you will have learned the very first step that's going to jumpstart that business idea, that project that's been on your mind all this time, and it's going to make it a reality. In this webinar, I'm going to tell you how I went from being stuck and frustrated with my corporate job into opening my own successful business. You will learn about the number one reason why 70% of business initiatives fail. You will also learn how to overcome those gremlins that have kept you unable to move forward with your project, that have kept you unmotivated and procrastinating when it comes to your business. And at the end of the webinar, you will get a free gift. So stick around. You're going to get a free gift from me that will help you get that business idea started. Because by the time we're done with this webinar, you're going to be motivated and focused. And you're going to be excited to take on that business and make it happen. And I see a lot of people joining. That makes me really happy. Feel free to say hi, guys, on the chat and, just state where you're from. Hi, Evelina from Bulgaria. Beautiful. I was just in Sofia a few years ago. Lovely place. We got Tobias from Berlin. Wow, a few people from Europe. I love this. We got Mark from New York. Hi, Mark. I'm from New York as well. Yes. Hi, Maria from Canada. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm glad you're all here, guys. Just to give you a quick introduction about myself, my name is Lenny Di Santo, and I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico originally, but I have been living in New York City for the past 10 years. And we're going to get more into details about my journey later, but just a quick info about what I do. I am a certified business coach, and I help people who feel unhappy and stuck in their current jobs create their own business. Whether that is starting a freelancing business or opening a brick and mortar business, I help people take that idea they had in their minds for a long time and make it a reality. And on a personal note, I love to travel. I have been to over 30 countries so far. And there is something about learning about new cultures and meeting new people that just really opened my perspective of life. And please don't judge by the photos. I am a terrible photographer. I also have 6 beautiful nieces and nephews that I love so much. They are my sunshine, and it is the hardest part of being away from home. I'm also the father of 2 furry monsters. I got my little Lola, who is 7 pounds, and she is full of energy and full of love. And I got my adorable blind dog, Rami, who has stolen my heart because I found him on the street about a year ago in Puerto Rico, and I took him with me to New York. And, I have to admit that at first, dealing with a blind and stray dog was extremely challenging. Witnessing his transformation has been just amazing. And this is a picture of him when I found him, and this is a video of him now. He is happy and healthy, and we played hide and seek all the time, and he loves it. He can't see, but he can hear my voice, and he finds me that way. And every time he does, he gets many treats and many kisses in return. Alright, so now you learned a little bit about me, and we're going to talk later how I went from being stuck at my job to finally taking my passion and turning it into my own business and making a 6-figure income in just a matter of months. So stick around, grab some tea or coffee, and please try to put your phone away if you can. I know it is difficult, but take this time, these next 30-40 minutes to really focus and invest in your life and in your future. So put that phone away, get rid of any distractions, because I am about to share with you the reason why 70% of business initiatives fail. Not only are you going to learn why they failed, but you're also going to learn how to avoid making that same mistake. Alright, give me a yes in the chat if you're feeling or have felt like this before. If these pictures resonate with you. Yes. You wake up Monday mornings dreading going to work. You're frustrated with your job. You want more for your life. You want to do your own thing. You have a business idea, but you can't find the time or energy to bring it to fruition. Give me a yes in the chat if this resonates with you. If you're feeling like this, you're not alone. I know the feeling. Trust me, I get it. I've been there. My clients have been there, and trust me, it gets better. Now, do me a favor. Close your eyes And imagine you're waking up Monday morning excited to get to work because you work for yourself, not for another company, but for your own. Imagine you're drinking your morning coffee, planning that vacation you've always dreamed of because you're in charge of your own schedule now. And you can even work remotely if you'd like to. Now, I want you to tell yourself this is all possible. This is all possible. And every morning when you wake up, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that. And tell yourself that it is all possible because it is. Now, I want to share with you why I am so passionate about this topic. And the reason is because over 10 years ago, I worked at a Fortune 500 corporation in Miami. It was a great job. I was making really good money. My boss was super cool. And my life was pretty amazing. I had a badass car, a super nice apartment with valet parking. And yes, I worked a lot, but I was in my early 20s and I was living the dream. However, there was this voice inside me telling me not to get comfortable, that job wasn't my purpose. And that voice kept showing up in my head, reminding me that I was meant for more. But with each promotion, every time I got a pay raise, that voice kept getting quieter and quieter. And I fell into that level of comfort that is really hard to get out of. And then one day, a close coworker of mine that had devoted his life to the company got laid off and replaced within a week. And I know this happens a lot in corporate America, but this time it became personal. It really ignited that voice that I had shut down. And now this voice was asking me all sorts of questions like, why are you investing your valuable time in a company that could replace you that quickly? And that voice kept getting louder and louder. And I still tried to ignore her because I was scared of leaving my job, of not having that income. How was I going to survive, right? I had bills to pay. I wanted to keep traveling and having fun. And I had a lot of fears like, would going on my own even work? I wasn't even sure what business to start. And what if my business failed? And all these fears that kept me trapped and ignoring that voice. And then one day I met a business coach and everything changed. He helped me get over all these fears and he helped me put everything into perspective. My past, my present, my future. He helped me discover my true passion and to identify what business I wanted to create. He held me accountable, and thanks to him, I transitioned from that job that I hated into my own successful music production company. And in a matter of months, I was able to turn my business into a 6-figure business, and I was able to quit my day job and work full-time in my own business doing what I love. And now we work with companies like HBO, Cinemax, Telemundo, and many advertising firms. And it is so rewarding to work for yourself, no matter how many hours you work, because it is for you. Because you're investing in yourself. And now I wake up every morning excited because I get to work for myself, doing what I love. And I'm sharing my story not to brag about myself, but to let you know that it can get better. That so many of the things that you are going through right now, I went through back then. And it took me a long time to gain the courage to take action in my life and to make that change. This is the reason why I became a certified business coach, because I witnessed firsthand my transformation, because I am passionate about helping people achieve their transformation. And I took it upon myself to follow that calling, that voice in my head that now I understand wanted me to help people get out of stagnation, get out of their miserable jobs, and help them start their own business. And I couldn't feel more fulfilled. I run my music production company, which is my passion, and in my spare time, I help people achieve happiness, which is my calling. So you should be proud of being in this webinar right now. The fact that you're here is amazing. It means that you want more for yourself, that you want to start that change and take that business idea and make it a reality. It means that you want to move past those roadblocks that have kept you stuck and unmotivated for all this time. And I know that by the end of this webinar, you're going to start seeing things differently. Now, who is this webinar for? This webinar is for you if you have a business idea, but you don't know how to start. Or you don't have a business idea, but you know you want to start a business. This webinar is for you if you can't find the motivation or time to start working on your business, or if you feel stuck and frustrated with your current job, or if you want more freedom in your life, or if you want to start a business but you are afraid. Now, who is this webinar not for? Well, this webinar is not for you if you're happy with your current job situation, or if you don't want to work hard, or if you don't want to start a business. This webinar is not for you if you don't want to learn more about yourself, or if you think you know it all. So, are you ready to start with this webinar? All right, let's get started. So, what is the number one reason why people never follow up on their business ideas? Feel free to type in the chat, guys. The number one reason why people never follow up on their business ideas. And the answer to that is fear. Fear, guys. Fear is the number one reason why business initiatives fail. And it is probably the reason why you are stuck and unable to move forward with that business idea that you've had in your mind all this time. And that's what we will be talking about in this webinar. We will be talking about fear and how it prevents you from starting that business. You will learn about the different kinds of fear that are keeping you stuck in your job, and you will learn ways to overcome them so that you can start moving out of your comfort zone and start planning that business and getting the freedom you want. So what is fear? What is fear? Fear is a powerful and primitive human emotion. It tells us when there is danger so that we can react properly and be safe. And fear was critical to the survival of our ancestors. And a great example of that was lions. Back in the day, every time our ancestors saw a lion, they would experience fear because they had seen what lions were capable of. They had seen lions eat their family members or their tribe members. So every time they would see one, they would get scared and they would hide and seek shelter. So you can see how beneficial fear was as a survival mechanism back in the day. And it is still today, because I'm sure if you see a lion walking down the street or walking around your neighborhood park, you're going to run and hide for your life, right? Same thing if you see somebody with a gun, right? You're going to run, you're going to hide, you're going to try to be safe. However, the problem with fear is that in other areas in your life, it puts a roadblock, especially when it comes to change. The fear of change is the most common form of fear that keeps people unable to move forward in their lives. And it often keeps you paralyzed in situations that are unhealthy or unfulfilling. It is this same fear that is keeping you stuck, is keeping you trapped, and is keeping you being small. And the reality is that you probably don't even know about it. It is so deeply buried in your self-consciousness that it is guiding your decisions without you even realizing it. Sometimes you hear it as a voice telling you, stay here, you're comfortable in this job. You don't have what it takes to run a business, or your business might fail. And all those kind of gremlins that speak to you in your head. Have you ever heard any of these? Because I have so many times. The important thing is to recognize that they exist, that it is okay, that we all have fear and we will always have fear. It's sort of part of ourselves, right? For the better or for the worse. It is like a passenger in your car that takes the wheel automatically without you even knowing it. And sometimes you need to tell him no. You need to tell him you're not driving anymore because I am going to drive this part of the trip, okay? So take the back seat and watch. You don't get to take decisions. You don't even get to change the radio station, okay? And you need to treat fear like this because the reality is that we cannot turn off fear. It comes in the package. It's part of you, right? Because fear comes from the part of the brain called the reptilian brain. That it is responsible for our basic needs, right? It is the part of the brain that tells you when you're hungry or it tells you when you're in danger. For example, when you touch a super hot stove. When you touch a super hot stove, your brain automatically removes the hand, right? You don't go through a thought process that goes like, oh, the stove is hot, maybe I should remove my hand. No, your brain just automatically removes it. So fear operates in the same way. It just hacks your brain at any time. So when you understand its function in your life and you accept it, you can objectively then tell whether fear is trying to sabotage you or actually trying to help you. And when you come to this realization in your life, everything will be so much better because you will be in control. Now, I want to talk about the four most common fears that are holding you back. These are the four fears that I see most with my clients. And I want you to identify which fear or fears, because there might be more than one, are keeping you stuck in your current situation so that you can learn how to overcome it. And the first fear is fear of sustainability. Now, this is the most common one because it is the fear that tells you, asks you, how will I pay my rent? How will I survive without my job? How will I support my family? If you resonate with this, do not worry. Many of us have experienced it. It is a genuine concern, right? We all have debts. You have responsibilities that need to be met. But know that to open a business, you're not obligated to make a drastic change in your life. You can start slowly. The idea is to always move forward. You don't have to quit your job right now to open your business. You shouldn't quit your job without a plan. I'll tell you an example of this. A client of mine from Puerto Rico, Monica, she was the manager of a mid-sized construction company, and she was satisfied with her professional life because she made good money. So she was sort of trapped in that comfort zone that many of us are. However, she had this dream of creating a dog rescue organization, but she couldn't quit her job because she had student loans, that she had mortgage to pay of her house. And during our introductory session, she always kept giving me all these excuses as to why she couldn't follow her calling. And I asked her, what is stopping you from doing that today? I asked her, what can you do today in the next 24 hours to get you closer to that dream? And with those two questions, her mindset changed. And we started our coaching relationship. We created a plan together to open her own dog rescue organization. And she discovered that she really didn't need much to open her business. That all she really needed to do was to create a network of dog lovers who'd be willing to foster dogs for a short amount of time until she could find the dogs a proper home. And she did it. She opened her business, and at the beginning, she worked her regular office job during the day, and in her spare time, she would find new homes for the dogs. All she needed was to overcome that irrational fear that told her she wouldn't be able to survive financially if she tried to make her dream come true. And the funny thing is that after about a year of opening her organization, it took off, and people started identifying with her noble work and starting donating money to her organization, and she was able to quit her job and work full time in what she loves. So sometimes it's all about perspective. Just like I said earlier, you don't need to quit your job right now to get started in your business. But you can certainly get the journey started by doing some research, by making a plan and getting everything ready to make that final transition. You can do this by asking yourself, what can I do today to make my business happen? And the answer could be the very first step of hundreds of steps, but even the smallest step is a step forward. It could be as simple as finding your business name or starting your business plan. It could be any little step, and tomorrow when you wake up, you will be proud that you did that. And guys, if you hear my voice crack, I apologize. I'm getting over a cold, but I did not want to postpone this webinar because we had already all these people signed up for it, and it was just going to make things complicated. So I'm just happy we're all here, and I'm hoping you can understand me properly. All right, so let's move on to the next fear, which is the fear of the unknown. And it is the fear of, I have no idea what business to make. I don't even know how to run a business. Is it going to work out? And to understand this fear, you need to be aware that the body doesn't process change very well. As a matter of fact, change increases the amount of stress in the brain, resulting in a high level of brain activity. And the brain will try by all means to avoid stress. Actually, there is a study by the Mount Eliza Business School that found that 70% of business initiatives failed because of people's resistance to change. Not because they weren't a good business idea, but because the brain is extremely effective at staying in its comfort zone. And this happens a lot with people who have serious health conditions and are instructed by their doctors to change their diets and lifestyle because they are at a very high risk of dying. Actually, studies show that only about 9% of them do change their lifestyle habits. 9%, that means that 91% of them kept the same lifestyle that got them sick in the first place. And they didn't change because they wanted to die, but because it is extremely difficult to change such habits. So yes, your brain will go under attack when you try to bring him into the unknown. And I could talk for hours about the scientific process of fear and change in our brains, but we don't have enough time for that. What you do need to understand is that you can take your new business idea and test drive it. Start doing some research, read books about it, create a business plan, interview people who might have the same sort of business. See if their stories resonate with what you want. It will calm your fear and it will give you confidence, and it will make your business planning even more solid. So plan and explore so that you can make that unknown a little more known. And with that thought, let's move on to the next fear, which is the fear of failure. And it is the fear of I'm not good, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't have experience in that, or there are so many people better than me doing that already. It is that little voice that sabotages your dream before you even begin to work on it. The problem with this fear is that most of the times it is stated in the negative. You are not smart enough. Your business is not original enough. And the brain processes that image you're giving it. So if you're thinking that you're going to fail, your brain is going to believe it and it will start sabotaging your own dream. On the other hand, if you think you're going to succeed, the opposite will happen and you will most likely thrive. So always take into consideration the power of your brain, the power of your thoughts. If you tell your brain, right now, let's do this exercise. If you tell your brain, I don't want to be broke. Tell your brain right now, I don't want to be broke. What is the first image that comes to your mind? It's an image of you being broke, right? Now let's try the opposite. Now let's tell your brain, tell yourself, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. What shows up in your brain then? An image of you being rich, right? That's how powerful the brain is. So always stay in the positive. Not only it will help you stay positive and focused, but it will boost your self-confidence and your productivity. Exactly, Bill. Yes, it is so powerful. So please be aware of your thoughts. Another tool you could use is accepting all possible scenarios, the good scenarios and the bad scenarios. I'm going to tell you a story about a retreat I went a few years ago about fear of failure, and they had us try and break a brick with our hands like they do in karate, and of course none of us was able to do it because breaking a brick is hard, right? But then our mentor explained us the logic behind why we weren't able to break the brick. And he told us that our brain, scared of failing, fear of failure, would automatically slow down microseconds before we were to hit the brick. And the brain would do this in order to prevent us from breaking our hands. This all happened unconsciously because our brain was trying to protect us. He then explained to us that if we explored the worst case scenario and accepted it, which in this case was breaking our hands, we could then really hit the brick without fear. And we tried it, and every single one of us broke the brick. So if you just explore all the outcomes of your business and accept them, you can then take your energy off your worries and put it where it matters, on the success of your business. Okay, so the next fear is the fear of time. It is the fear of, I am too old for this, or I am too young to achieve that, or I don't have time to do that. How many of you have felt like this? I have. I personally identify with this fear because when I decided to pursue my calling of becoming a coach, fear started to flip out. He started yelling at me and telling me things like, you make enough money with your music business, or you don't have time to do that, or you're too old to go back to school. But I immediately recognized it as my fellow companion fear doing one of his tricks. So I put him aside, and here I am right now. Does this fear sound familiar to you? Yes? I had a client named Joe who worked at HBO for over 20 years. His job had become his life, and he came to me because he had been trying to connect with an early dream of his of becoming a writer, but he found himself always putting it on the side because of his work and because of his time management problem. And he wanted me to help him with that and also to hold him accountable because he just wanted to write. He didn't want to make money from it or become a freelancer, none of that stuff. He just wanted to have it as a hobby. So I helped him do that, and of course a little more because that's what us coaches do. So during our first 10 sessions, Joe transcended into a completely different person. His approach to life had changed. He realized how his corporate job had been consuming him and how it made him forget about his dream. He discovered that the reason why he wouldn't even consider making a living off of writing was because he thought writers needed to be fresh and young and creative, all the things he really was. He already was all of that, but he couldn't see that because he thought that being in his early 50s was already being too old to try new things. And now Joe is a freelance writer, he's a script doctor, and he even has a script on hold with Queen Latifah, and he is happy because he is living out of his passion. And this is a post he put on Facebook on his last day at work that said, "Today was my last day at HBO, a roller coaster of emotions inside. After 20 plus years, all I can say is I have never been more excited about my future. Thank you, Lady DeSanto, for awakening the new me to new adventures." And I have to admit that every time I read this post, it just makes me so happy because Joe's transformation was incredible. Like witnessing the process was just a magical experience for me because when you take that idea, when you take that project that you had in your mind and you finally make it happen, it's just a fulfilling and rewarding experience that I cannot even describe. So let me ask you this question. How would your life change if you had your own business? How would your life change if you had your own business? I want to invite you right now for a moment to close your eyes. And I want you to transport yourself into the future to your 100th birthday. You just turned 100 years old and you're celebrating your life with your loved ones. And one of your guests asks you to tell everybody the story of your life. And everybody starts gathering around excited because they want to hear your story, your journey. What would you like that story to be? A life filled with frustration and stagnation because you didn't have the courage to overcome your own fears? Or a life filled with passion and joy because you follow your dreams? Think about your 100-year-old self. What advice would he or she give you? So no matter how old or how young you are, or if you feel you don't have time or you don't have energy or the motivation, you can always take small steps to get you there. Take a moment right now and open your calendar and separate a few hours this week. 1, 2, 3 hours, whatever realistically works for you, and start working on that business idea of yours. Because life is too short and too precious to not follow your heart, to waste it doing things that you don't love. So why not start now? Why not start now? All right, so let's review what we've learned so far. So we've learned that fear is a survival mechanism responsible for alerting you of any possible dangers to keep you safe, right? We can't get rid of it as it is part of our brain, but it can be controlled. And why does it need to be controlled? Well, because when it comes to change, fear often hijacks your brain and takes control without you even knowing it. It doesn't matter if the change is good or bad for you, fear will try to prevent that change from happening. And you can tell fear is the one making decisions when you want to work on that business idea, but then you feel tired or unmotivated. Or sometimes you have time to do it now, but you decide to leave it for later. And later becomes the next day. And then the next day becomes the day after that, and so on. And then you never get to work on that business idea, on that project that has been on your mind all this time. So let me ask you this question. Who do you want to be from now on? Do you want to be the one that let fear take over and never followed up on that business idea? Or you want to be the one that took that idea and made it happen? If you want to be the one who overcomes fear, now you have the tools to do that. You learned that to overcome fear, the first step is to accept fear, to understand its purpose, to understand that all it really wants is to keep you safe. Once you accept it, you need to put it aside. Tell fear to take the backseat while you work on this business and learn to coexist with him because fear is not going away. Then you need to start planning. Start putting some hours into the development of your business. Do some research. Study similar businesses. Take a few hours each week and commit to them. Then explore every possible outcome, every scenario, the good and the bad, and accept them. Understand that yes, they could happen, and then make a plan B or a plan C for every possible scenario so that you can take off all your energy and worries from it and focus on the desired outcome. And lastly, always stay positive. You've learned how powerful your brain is. So always be positive. There is no space for negative thinking if you want to be successful. So now you have learned the very first step of my 4-step business revolution program. And I want to invite you to take all this knowledge and all this energy and apply it to your new business. Take that motivation and courage to follow your dream and take that idea that has been on your mind all this time and make it happen. Set some time aside and start developing that idea. Start planning that business so that you can be ready to fire that job and work on what you love full time. There is a reason why you're here in this webinar right now, and it is because you matter. Your idea matters. Your idea wants to be expressed, and you can make it happen. What you have learned in this webinar is a very powerful tool. You're now able to identify and control your fears, which is the number one reason people don't move forward in their lives. And you have two options now. You can continue building your success on your own, just like we discussed right now, one small step at a time. And as long as you're moving forward, that is what matters. It might take a few months or years, but what I don't want is for your fears to take over you and start sabotaging your dreams. That is why I recommend the second option, which is work with a business coach or a consultant or a mentor. Whatever kind of support you think would work best for you, do it. Because when you have a support system in place, everything changes. A coach will give you the guidance and the support to make your business happen. He or she will hold you accountable and keep you driven. Your coach will help you overcome any fears and any problems you might face along the way. And he or she will help you with time management and will keep you focused and motivated so that you can turn that business idea into a reality in as little time as possible. So are you ready to get out of your comfort zone and start working on your business? Give me a yes right now. I know it is hard. I know you get home exhausted from work and all you want to do is wind down. I get it. You want to make a change. You want to start working on that business, but you don't have the strength to do it. You want a change, but you don't even know how to begin. I get it. For some of us, that is a deeper problem. It involves fatigue and exhaustion, and it can be very frustrating, like a vicious cycle that you're just trapped in it. And if you're feeling like this, I want to take this moment to invite you to take my business personality assessment. It is a 15-minute online assessment followed by a 45-minute one-on-one session with me where we are going to debrief your assessment. We're going to talk about what is happening in your current situation, and I'm going to peek into your brain to see exactly what is holding you back so that we can find solutions to that roadblock and get you started on that business ASAP. You can take this assessment anywhere at any time, and if you're being serious about starting a business, this assessment will teach you things about yourself that will make a huge impact on how you set up and run your business. And because I want to make this very easy on you, I am offering a special webinar offer of $97 until the timer runs out. This package will jumpstart that project you've had in your mind for so long. It will give you the motivation and focus to materialize that idea you had. You're going to get a 10-page report where you will learn about your personal weaknesses and strengths, both in the workplace and in your personal life. You will learn how you can improve them so that you can run your business better. You will learn how you appear to others so that when you present yourself to a client or employees, you have a better understanding of how they perceive you. You will learn about your communication style, whether you are great at delivering your message across, or perhaps you need to work on your listening skills. You will also learn about your ideal work environment. What values are important to you in the workplace, so that you can apply those values into your business. You will also learn about your teamwork style, how well you work with others. This will be useful information for when you have employees. You learn about your leadership style. What kind of boss are you going to be? Will you create a harmonious atmosphere at work? You're going to learn about industries that fit your personality and style so that you can determine if your business idea works with your personality. This will help you save a lot of time exploring ideas that might not really work with your type. And you'll get a 45-minute one-on-one session with me, whether in person or over the phone or video conference or Skype, whatever works for you. And we are going to talk about your business and why you're being stuck in your current situation. We're going to find ways to get you unstuck and proactive in your business. And you are going to leave that session hyped and excited to work on your business. I have clients that by just engaging with me in this package, their business took off. All they needed was a little motivation and to understand themselves better. This is a $247 value at $97. This is how passionate I am about helping you get started with your business. And if you've had this business idea for months, perhaps years in your head, neglecting it because you've been procrastinating or simply unmotivated, this could be the very first step you can take to break that pattern of being stuck. I encourage you to take this invitation seriously if you want to make that change, because now you have an opportunity to make a change, to change your future, to get unstuck, to start being productive and start that business. This special package will help you know who you are and the potential pitfalls that might affect your new business. Find out why you're being dragged down, why you can't move forward, why you got comfortable in this situation. If any of these resonate with you, take that first step towards success. And if you're not ready, that is okay. You can always get this package from my website at www.thecoachoflife.com. However, it will be at the original price of $247. So take advantage of this now, because how much is it costing you already to stay stuck? Alright guys, we have a few minutes left, so this is the moment to ask any questions you may have. Feel free to type it in the chat box and I am going to answer as many as I can. And if I don't get to all your questions, guys, you can always write me an email at lenny@thecoachoflife.com, okay? And I'm gonna respond to you afterwards, every question. So I'm pretty good at doing that. Okay, we got a question here. Do you do private coaching? Hi, Warren. Yes, I do. I offer private coaching. But if you're interested, what I recommend is taking my business personality assessment so that we can discuss after the 45-minute session if coaching is right for you. Okay? We got another one. I have all the fears we talked about today. Is that normal? Yes, Karen, it is normal. And there are so many more fears. I just highlighted the most common ones. And don't worry if you experience many of them. Now you know what to do, right? Accept them. Analyze every possible outcome, right? The good and the bad. And now you know when fear is kicking in so that you can just put him aside and not let him drive the car. And we got another question. What do you mean if coaching is right for you? Well, what I mean about this is that, everybody is different. And sometimes people want someone to do the work for them, right? Or they might want someone to just give them advice. Or they want someone to push them and help them plan, etc. So it depends on the person. That is why some people prefer to have a coach over a consultant or a mentor over a coach. It all depends on your personality and style. And if you take this assessment, we're going to be able to exactly identify which kind of person are you and if coaching is good for you. Okay? What can I expect from coaching? Hi, Chase. Well, it is very simple. In coaching, we set a goal and we make it happen in as little time as possible. And in this case, it would be, for example, opening your own business. So during our coaching journey, we will get you from where you are now, which I don't know, unfortunately, right now, but to opening your own business and making sure everything is covered so that your business is as successful as it could be. All right, guys. We have run out of time. I know many of you have questions. So once again, please send me an email to lenny@thecoachoflife.com, and I am going to get to each and every one of you as soon as possible. And because you guys are so amazing, and because you have been here till the very end, I have a special gift for you. Right here is my little gift to you for staying until the end, and it is 5 things you can do every day to keep you focused and driven to opening your business. So just click on the link and you will get a download for it, okay? And let me tell you guys, you should be proud of yourself for having stayed here until the end. This shows how committed you are to change and to get started in your business. And because everyone should follow their dreams, right? Everyone should follow their calling and do what they love. I believe no one should spend 40 plus hours a week doing something they don't love. So give yourself a pat in the back because you took action today to make that change. And if you apply everything that you've learned in this webinar and you start making small steps every day to get that business running, you will see that in no time you will have turned that idea into a reality. So thank you for being part of this webinar, for letting me share all this information with you. And I really hope I have created that spark that will turn into a raging fire in you and that all your dreams do come true. And please always remember that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.